Welcome to the Bahamas. Brian and Emily here, aboard our Allure 399 Big Bear. We'll share our top 3 favorite features that make this Allure an outstanding vessel for sailing through remote areas. And thanks for joining us on the third leg of our adventure, from the eastern U.S. to Canada's Pacific coast. An estimated 10,000 nautical miles we'll sail in under 1 year. Beware the elephants, the old salt is warning that things may be calm inshore, but the waves can be stacked in the Gulf Stream. If the horizon looks like a string of elephants linked nose to tail, then sailor, beware. Fortunately, we made safe passage, with just enough excitement you can check out in the previous video.
As much as we love the Bahamas and hanging out in every cool little spot, the mission was really to try and start making some miles south. So after crossing the Bimini Islands, set a track towards the Exuma Islands. Crossing to Bimini on Christmas Day, the day after Christmas looked like a beautiful day, as followed by a calm night, to spend the night out on the Bahama Bank, which is a very neat place to anchor because there's no land in sight and it's only about 10 to 15 feet deep and clear sand bottom, but with nothing else around you.
Beautiful code 0. Looked like quantum sails.
7.5 knots. Flying. Got up to about 8 knots and I had to try and slow us down a bit to try and keep, to be able to keep code 0 up. Depowered the main, steered down in the guns. Evened out again, and now we're doing a beautiful 7.5 knots. Flying along. Had to drop over the wall. We're going to be in about 4,000 feet within the hour. 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105.
We made our way towards New Providence Island, West Bay. We spent a few days there and waited for the next weather window. A little new to the Exumas. I've spent most of my time in the Bahamas up north, and although it was nice, it was a little more crowded and a little different than what we're used to in the very remote North Bahamas.
Category 5 Hurricane Dorian was a record-breaking storm, and it devastated the northern Bahamas in 2019. The people and habitat of the Abacos Islands are rebuilding and rebounding. The small communities there appreciate tourism to help support the local economy. But you need to be ready to be more self-sufficient there than other places, which is our preference anyway. 3 features of our Allure 399 that help us manage long-distance cruising in remote areas are: Number 1, her shallow draft. Big Bear draws only 3 feet of water due to her unique lifting center board, which allows us to not only cruise in shallow areas, but anchor in them too. Number 2, a reliable Watermaker.
What we have here is a Spectra Watermaker, which is a 12-volt system, and the model is the Cape Horn Extreme. All the components fit under 1/4 of under the bunk here. The Cape Horn Extreme can put out up to 14 gallons an hour at full capacity, but one of the great features is that the system is broken up into 2 feed pumps. Module there, and a second module with a second feed pump. So if you're low on power, you can actually run the system at half power and be making about 7 gallons an hour at about 7 amps at 12 volts. So great system. It's been absolutely flawless. This is the second boat that I've had a Spectra on, and I've never had a single problem. Got to be the most efficient Watermakers on the market. Uses about 1 amp hour of power for about every 1 gallon of water made in a 12 volt system. So incredibly efficient, incredibly reliable. And one of the great options with Allure and Garcia is that they'll actually do pre-install. So they put in in the through hull fitting for the water, and they ran the power over to where I was going to install it, but I was able to purchase and install the Watermaker by myself. I had done it on my last boat, so I was familiar with the system and familiar with the install, confident that if I had the through hull in place that I could do it. It's a great option, can save you a lot of money if you're building a boat.
Favorite feature number 3 of remote area sailing with Allure? Redundancy of systems. Dual rudders, dual helm stations, dual autopilots. Not only does this come in handy, but will prove potentially life-saving as our adventure continues into the Pacific. More on that in episodes to come. There's no doubt that where there are fewer people, there's more wildlife. The northern Bahamas are characterized by cooler water than the south, and their close proximity to the Gulf Stream make them haven for wildlife, particularly sharks and rays. There's a diverse array of marine wildlife in this area that we've been lucky enough to experience, including some that feel like new friends, and I dare say are just as curious as we are. Much of the Bahamas landscape is sparse, shaped by ancient coral beds and storms. Mangroves line shallow estuaries, creating habitat to support a rich and diverse ecosystem. They also happen to be some of our favorite spearfishing grounds for the tasty and ever so coy red or yellow snapper. Some places can get shallow, so do mind the tide. Blue holes are a peculiar natural wonder of the Bahamas, ancient underwater caves measuring up to hundreds of feet deep. Some are on the charts, and some are not. One must wonder, do we really know how far they all go, and what curiosities they contain? Brian and I are not trained scientists. Living in wild places allows for many observations in nature.
Going down the Exuma chain, island chain. So as we got to the bottom of the Exuma chain, one day out into the swell to make it down to Long Island.
You may have noticed by now that dolphins absolutely love our bow wave. Brian attests that of all the boats he's sailed, this is the best dolphin boat by far. Bonus feature. Seems like good luck if you ask me.
There.
So satisfying. Ooh, extra squishy.
Some strong wind north of here that isn't affecting us at all wind-wise, but it is spitting out some huge rollers in the ocean that are rolling right up into this bay. Yeah, definitely a rolly anchorage.
Love a good sandbar.
Sandbar.
What kind of sailors would we be without swapping some fishing stories at the bar? Bahamian people are just so nice, and we're lucky to get some pro tips.
No, I was hooked into him. Shot him. I didn't shot, but killed shot. We would fry small fish, so big, feel like fillet. Yeah. We normally like rub a little bit of seasoning, mayo. Yeah. Then some onion slices. But I'm going to tell you how to cook it next time.
Okay.
Then I need notes. That was my snapper. The mayo, keep it moist. Yeah. Just glaze it with a little bit of mayo, then a little bit of olive oil, white wine. To the yellow jacket bread. Give me that spoon. On a spell.
Repulsive.
Pineapple.
It's hot. It's wonderful.
We basically go through life following our stomachs with as much local fare as we can find. Fried snapper, lobster mac and cheese. Overfishing is a problem ocean-wide, but we definitely notice the impacts of increased fishing pressure in the southern Bahamas. The locals explained that most of their haul is exported to the U.S., where they're paid a tiny fraction of the price that Americans pay for the same stuff in restaurants. So, where does all that extra money go? And what's the real cost? Fresh fruit and vegetable anything is always on the menu, and we are equipped with a fridge and freezer on board, which really opens up our options. If you have any questions about how we provision for the trip, drop us a comment.
We had to make our way down somewhere that we could do some shopping and resupplying, and where there's customs and immigration, because we were actually going to check out of Bahamas. So we made our way down to Thompson Bay, which is a really special little spot.
Wait, did you just give it a stabilizing hold?
So when a weather window arose, we decided to sail from Long Island, Bahamas, straight to Panama. So we had our weather window lined up, and we were ready to make the jump. So from Long Island, Bahamas to the Panama Canal was going to be just about a 1,000-mile jump. Some of the toughest parts of which was going to be getting from Thompson Bay out into open water. There's these really big, really horribly charted sand flats, banks at the lower Bahamas, west of Long Island. And you really have to pick your way through. You have to ride the tide. You have to look out for bommies and coral heads. And you really have to weave your way through these very shallow, shifting sand spits.
We have the Navionics charts on BMG, and they're not very accurate. I've heard rumor that the Garmin charts are more accurate than the lower Bahamas, so maybe that's true, but the Navionics ones are definitely off. It's, you know, when it gets shallow and it says it should be 12 feet and it's 5 feet, that's a pretty big difference. So that's where we're at. Trying to head down the west side of Long Island, and we're very happy that we have multiple charts to compare to. Our stock Navionics charts on B&G lose pretty much all detail down here. Really don't give me much of anything. I don't know that I'd feel confident getting through here. This is all the charts that I have. The sonar charts options, which does give us a lot more detail. So we're gonna be able to get through the shallow spots.
Once you're out in open water, just south of Long Island, you are free to cruise straight down towards Jamaica and Haiti.
Scene out of a stupid comedy. Emily and I got all excited and we're like, yeah, we're going on an adventure. It's so exciting. Yeah, really exciting. Just kind of sit here, look at the calm, flat water around us. Nothing happened. And